All right, my thinking leads to eating. I'm out. I should get something. I have a lot of clients that struggle with this thought. They're out running errands, they're dropping kids off, taking puppies to puppy school, picking up dry cleaning, running the errands, right? And then all of a sudden, this voice comes to you. We're out. We should get something. Kind of like your payment for doing all those things, right? And I had a client who has lovingly named her lower brain Lolita, the party girl. And what Lolita tends to do is show up. She has, as she described it, has zero responsibilities, doesn't contribute, wants to eat all the things, do all the things. And this is how she's helping to segment out higher brain from lower brain, which, you can call your lower brain whatever you want, but it's helpful because you start to get some distinct messages from lower brain and you start to see it in a different context, right? So she noticed that a lot of her impulsive eating that was derailing her from hitting her calorie goal was happening when she's out driving through Starbucks, stopping off to get something. And this might be you. I had another client, she did it with fast food. Every time she was out, her lower brain would chat at her, you're out running all these errands. It's kind of like payment for having to do all the stuff that you don't want to do. That's kind of how the lower brain might rationalize it for you. And what I want to encourage you to realize is that whenever you're in these habitual loops, the most important step is starting to identify Lolita from your higher brain. It's starting to segment those two out so you can clearly see it when it shows up. And it was interesting. I had this client report into me every time her lower brain showed up over the weekend because she was really struggling over the weekend. Lolita shows up more during unstructured time. So she would send me a message and she actually was shocked how many good days she could string together by just acknowledging when Lolita showed up and was kind of suggesting things that were off plan. Now, how do you know when it's your lower brain? That was nowhere in your agenda to do. You had no plans on stopping by Starbucks. You had no plans on grabbing an ice cream. None of that happened. You were out and about and the thought showed up, okay? And if you were to pay attention to your history, you probably would notice that this is fairly consistent. She did not see this. I kind of saw it from things she had shared with me, but she had not seen it until she had the assignment of reporting into me whenever that little voice showed up in her head, right? But then it drew a lot of attention to it. So your lower brain can also be the one that suggests the fun, impulsive. I have another client, she struggles with eating at nice restaurants. Whenever she goes to nice restaurants, her lower brain says, we may never get to eat here again. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We got to try all the things. And I said to her really rationally, I said, is this restaurant looking like it's closing down shop? Does it appear as though this restaurant's going out of business? Well, no. So if you're eating here today and you could come back to it anytime or do a takeout order from it anytime, that part of your brain that uses scarcity to say, hey, let's have a good time. Everyone else is eating this. This might be our only opportunity. These might be phrases you're familiar with, right? You can say, no, lower brain, no, Lolita. It's okay. If we really see something we want, we could do a takeout order. It's not like we're incapable of traveling here again, eating these foods again. This is not a once in a lifetime opportunity. Very seldom is it. I mean, granted, you got a 92-year-old grandmother, she bakes you a tray of cookies. Obviously, time is not on her side. You might want to have a couple cookies, right? But those are the very far and few in between kind of scenarios. Most of this is we go to a restaurant that's been well established, it's been there for eons. We could have gone at any point, we just became aware of it. And what you can do, and I've done this before in my own journey, when you talk back to your lower brain, you say, you know what, lower brain, if you want to, for one entire week, we'll make a point to do takeout from here so we can try all the food. But we're not going to try all the food and go against our plan today. See, it's always within that 24 hours. In that 24 hours, a lot of lower brain chatter can show up. Lolita can show up every 5 minutes. It's your job to parent that idea and that voice and help it say, nope, tomorrow we can do that. We're not doing it today. We're sticking with the original plan. And honestly, it creates a lot less stress for you, believe it or not. If you just write your solid plan down of what you're gonna do, including treats, including snacks, you don't get rigid, and plan a unrealistic day, which there's two things that you contend with. One, it's the lower brain chatter, and two, it's not being realistic about what you're gonna do, right? There's a detachment there. Well, if I write down a really rigid day of eating, I'm gonna make myself follow it, because you know what, I'm gonna dismiss the lower brain. You'll do that for so long until you won't. So you need to make sure on your pre-planned day, you have your treats, you have your snacks, you have things you're looking forward to. Because then when you say your lower brain kick in, you say, you know, lower brain, we have that Snickers bar planned today. We're gonna eat that today, and then we'll come back and have the ice cream maybe tomorrow. But we're gonna stick with the plan on paper today. Because what it is the lower brain literally is like an out of control kid. It's bouncing off the walls, got all these ideas, trying to fix problems that don't maybe even need to be fixed, micromanaging you, trying to tell you what to do, You've got to be the parent and rein in that lower brain. You have to say, no, sweetheart, we've already got 2 treats planned today. We're not having that one too. But if you want, we can plan that one for our treat tomorrow. See, it's like you're talking to a child. You're not talking to an equally performing adult, okay? So I just want to encourage you, really pay attention to where your lower brain shows up. Both of my clients were kind of shocked because they didn't realize it was like kind of more pleasure based, like being out and wanting to stop and get a kind of a treat or a reward, and being in a nice restaurant and being tempted to eat more than what they had planned because it was like this once in a lifetime experience. But as we really pulled back the layers, we realized that one, those are both impulsive food decisions, which usually always indicates a lower brain decision. And two, it was for the pleasure of it, the reward of it, the fear of scarcity. We may not get this again. So just want to encourage you to keep looking and make sure if it's helpful for you, name your lower brain. I love when my clients come up with names for it because it helps them start to see it through a different lens. All right, guys, I hope this video helps, and I will talk to you soon. Please like and subscribe and share the video. Talk to you soon.